I'm back again with another educational beauty video. This time, I'm going to be showing you new makeup hacks that you need in your life. These are going to make your life so much easier when it comes to your whole beauty routine, your makeup application. Some of them are new, so I don't think that maybe you have heard of some of them before, but they are tweaked according to me. So I have kind of picked out some of the best hacks that I know you guys are going to love, and it just makes sense. So watch it because you're going to love it. So if you do like this video, please do give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so that you never miss any of my future videos. Don't forget I'm over on Instagram too, so if you like reels, unboxing, a bit of that kind of stuff, then head over and say hi and hit follow. And I think we should now head into this video. So all of my skincare is on, moisturizer's on, eye cream's on. We're ready to get started with the first hack. Now, some of these hacks you may have seen before, but I've kind of adjusted them to almost fine tune them according to what I feel works better. And some of them may be completely new to you. So I'm really excited about going through all this because we're going to be doing the hacks, applying it at the same time. First thing we're going to be doing is a hack you've probably already heard of, but it's different. So it's mixing your primer in with your foundation, but we're not using a gel-based primer. We're actually going to be using a cream primer. So this is the Hourglass Vanish Airbrush Primer, which you guys, if you've used this, then you know that this is one of the best primers when it comes to really minimizing pores, smoothing your finish, and keeping your makeup matte all day. So we're going to be mixing this in with a foundation. What do you do when you want a really nice skin-like foundation, a natural finish foundation to last all day? Well, you mix it with this. So what we're going to be doing one pump on the back of the hand. So I've got one pump of this primer, and then I'm taking one pump of my Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin foundation. I am going to mix this together on the back of my hand. I had a couple of questions on my Instagram page after I posted a reel of the whole mixing primer with foundation. Someone was asking about whether you can mix water-based primers with silicone-based foundations. I personally have done that, and I find that they work fine. Initially, when you start mixing, you might see a little bit of that bumpy finish, lumpy finish, but if you keep going, it will mix together. Now, obviously, the primer that you use, if it's water-based, it's going to work best with a water-based foundation, or silicone-free, get rid of all of that stuff. It's going to work better with that. A silicone-based primer is going to work best with a silicone-based foundation, but it is possible to mix the two. But what I will say is you'll get a better finish and a longer finish with using like for like. So anyway, we've mixed these two together. I'm going to get my brush, which is my F47 brush, and I'm going to apply this to my skin. And I was going to say I hate to say this, but I don't hate to say it. I actually prefer the finish of this foundation when I've mixed it with this primer. I don't know what it is, but it just I don't know, it just isn't super, it doesn't just disappear into the skin. I feel like I get a better finish with it. When you apply this foundation on its own, it can look extra glowy to the point where you're okay, I don't want it that glowy. This primer, I feel calms it down a bit so it doesn't look so glowy. I love the finish this whole mixing this foundation with this primer does. And I'm talking about these specific products, by the way. You could use a different foundation if you want, but I'm talking about this specific primer is amazing when you mix it in with your foundation. So the Milk Hydro Grip primer that you've seen me use so many times and mix it into foundation, that is a great primer, but it is water-based, so it is going to give you more of that hydrating look to your whole overall base. Whereas if you're using something like this Hourglass Vanish, it's going to give you that really nice matte finish and almost that very airbrushed finish to your skin. Next up, we're going to be doing something similar. So I'm using a eye primer and a concealer. I'm going to mix the two together so that I really get that staying power. So I'm using my Milk Hydro Grip Eye Primer. I'm going to get some of this on the back of my hand. I'm going to mix a little bit of my Hourglass Concealer, which is in Dune, and I'm going to mix the two together on the back of my hand, and I'm going to go in with my sponge and press this onto my lids. You are just going to literally see my dark circles disappear. All that darkness will just go. Let me do one side. And the great thing about this hack, there you go, is that it really grips hold of the skin. So you get that really nice, perfect finish, ready for any kind of eyeshadow look, and it just stays in place. Let's just set that with some powder. Now we're going to go ahead and apply the concealer to the under eye area. We're not using the concealer that's mixed with the primer. We're using only concealer because I don't need that mixed in with primer for my under eye area. You can do that, by the way, if you want to. But what I'm trying to show you a completely different hack here. So basically we're going to be applying our concealer, and usually what you see on me and many other makeup artists is we kind of like draw it on, swipe it on, and then you start blending. Now I noticed a lot of people were kind of like talking about how much I apply or how much other makeup artists or YouTubers apply when they first apply it, and they're like, wow, that's like a lot. I definitely don't need that amount. So this is a really easy way. It's a really easy hack for you guys to just be able to get that perfect amount that you need. You don't have to worry about how much concealer you're applying. You know how we're always like, okay, I've applied too much or I haven't applied enough. This is going to literally eliminate that issue for you. What I want you to do is take your concealer and put it at the back of your hand. I'm taking that same Hourglass one. Now, I want you to take your sponge, whatever sponge that is that you use, and I want you to buff that concealer into the back of your hand so that that sponge is nicely covered evenly. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go and buff this in to the under eye area. You literally do not have to worry about how much concealer you've applied to the area and then you're trying to blend in like way too much concealer. I know that is enough for me now, whereas I may have gone in with a whole load with that first or second swipe, and then I'm just stuck there trying to blend all this excess concealer. Do you see what I mean? So this way you kind of apply just the right amount. Like I've got the right amount that I want. You can go ahead and do the exact same thing on the other side. So we're going to buff that into the sponge before we buff it into the skin. And this is honestly the easiest way for you to get the quantity right. And what you can do is you take this sponge anywhere else that you feel you need it. Now, when it comes to setting the under eye area, I'm going to show you something which I'm assuming other makeup artists, like pro makeup artists, must do as well. But this is something I do when I'm working on clients. I don't always do it on myself just because I want quick, makeup. But we'll also not so much about quick makeup. It's more to do with like just the mess. But I want you to do this when it comes to setting your powder. What I want you to do is take your hand, put your setting powder into your hand. I cannot begin to tell you how much of a difference this makes. So we've got the setting powder there. You can either use your powder puff like I do, or you can use your sponge. It's completely up to you. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to take the kind of excess product out of your fine lines, take your sponge or whatever. You're going to go into the powder and kind of jiggle it around, right? So it's like nicely covering the puff. Tap to take the excess off. And then you're going to pat. You get the most perfectly even amount of powder applied to your skin. Whereas when you actually apply it straight from the actual tub, you'll see, and you've probably seen on me when I've done it before, you just get like blobs. So I'm going to really press. I am literally going to dust that off. How flawless is that? Like, honestly, it's as easy as that when it comes to like little changes that you make that can completely change the way that your makeup actually looks. Like, honestly, if I remembered half the time, I do it this way. I do it this way sometimes when I put the effort in. But, I'm putting makeup on a daily basis, sometimes several times a day because of my job. I'm not about to keep pouring this out, right? But for someone like you who has the time, who's just putting makeup on themselves maybe once a day, like this is going to work wonders. It's an amazing hack. I haven't applied powder anywhere else because there's a couple of different hacks that I want to show you. Now, before I move on to the rest of the face, I just want to do my brows, and I want to show you a very it is a hack, I would say. So what I'm going to do is I am going to get a wet wipe. I'm going to take off the product from my brows first because there's like a buildup of makeup, and I feel like this is what a lot of people don't do, is they don't clean their brows after they've applied their base and everything before they carry on and start applying the brow stuff. Sometimes I've had this issue, and it's usually when I'm rushing and I don't actually do this hack, but sometimes I have this issue that when I apply my brow product, it just doesn't stick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my powder puff, I'm going to press. I know I've just taken off all the makeup from there, but that was mainly kind of like concealer. I don't care if there's powder there, I just don't want foundation and concealer there. And I mattify my brows before I start. Now I'm going to get my Victoria Beckham Baby Blade in medium brown, and I'm going to do my brows, and you'll see how the product just transfers perfectly. Like, I have no issues with the product not transferring. Whereas if you don't have super matte dry brows, the product just doesn't stick. It just takes forever. It actually ends up making the whole brow application way longer than it should be. Yet when your brows are kind of prepped with powder, it just becomes so much quicker because you just have no issue with the product kind of transferring onto the brows. And that's regardless of whether you have sparse brows or not. Like, look how quick that was. I'm going to show you another hack when it comes to your eyes. So I'm going to use my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in soft brown. I alternate my brow pencils every so often just because I have a few different favorites. But I'm going to use this one and show you how this works so well for a very, very soft flick or like smoky lash line. I'm going to use this pencil and basically apply this very kind of close to my lash line. I'm not too fussed about it being kind of like neat because I want it to be super, super soft. And then I'm going to just create a little flick. And it's super light, but your brow pencil can be the perfect color to kind of like complement your hair, like, you know, like your brows, all the surrounding areas to your eyes. And it gives you a really soft finish. So I'm literally just kind of like lightly doing a soft flick, and it's because it's such a light color, it's just really easy to get that very, very soft finish. And then you can just blend out. See that really, really soft lift there? We don't have it there, but we have it here. It's super, super soft, and it may not actually look like anything major to you when you first apply it, but once you've applied your mascara, it actually finishes off the look so nicely. It's just, sometimes I feel like eyeshadows can end up having too much pigment, and it just becomes kind of like you end up just making it look a lot heavier than you anticipated. Whereas this is probably one of the softest finishes you'll get. Why are my words not coming out? You're not even using like a proper eyeshadow. It's just like super soft. You can go all the way in, by the way, if you want to, or you can just leave it to like the end of your eye, but it's completely up to you. Now, in order for you guys to see that hack in its full effect, let's apply a little bit of mascara. I'm just going to use my Benefit Fan Fest mascara. It's my current favorite. See how it just softens it all up? Like, I feel like it just finishes it off. We've got such a subtle flick there that you can hardly see it. You don't have to worry about going OTT with eyeshadow or pencils or anything. Use your brow pencil as your eye pencil. You're going to love it because it somehow is the perfect color to complement your lashes, like your brow color, your lashes, and it works really well. Okay, as you may remember, we didn't apply any powder to the rest of our face. We only applied it to the under eye area and our lids. So now I'm going to go in with blush and a little bit of contour. But what can happen, based on some of the comments that I've seen from you guys, is that it's just too much, or you just feel like you've gone a bit OTT with your blush and your bronzer, or you don't know where to apply it. I'm going to show you a really, really easy way. Now I'm going to be using a liquid blush, which is my Beauty Bay in Reef, and I'm applying some of this to the back of my hand, and it is very pigmented, to be honest. But what I'm going to do is apply a little bit of foundation into this blush. So I'm going to mix these together, and that is going to all of a sudden dilute that blush so that it's this beautiful kind of like just the right amount of kind of color that I actually want. Now I'm going to get the back of a sponge. I'm going to dip it into this, and I'm going to apply this just on the area that I want it, which is basically go to the top of your ear and start from there. That's where you're going to start, and don't work your way all the way in the middle because we don't really want too much color going through the middle of the face. We want to kind of keep it on the perimeter of the face, and that is literally where you need it. That's it. And because this is foundation mixed in with this blush, it's really going to like kind of sit well on the skin. And you've all of a sudden, you've made that blush complement your skin color way better than if you were to just apply the blush like directly from the product, like from the wand, and then just start blending it in. It's the same kind of concept as the hack I showed you with the concealer and applying it to the back of your hand first. It's similar to that, but you are diluting it with a bit of foundation to just get that perfect color. Now, one thing I will say is what you need to understand about this hack is that it isn't just about diluting it. It's so unique to every single one of you guys. Every single person that's watching this will do this hack and it will look different on each person because your foundation is different. So if I were to mix in your foundation and you are a lot paler than me, or you are a lot darker in skin tone than me, it's going to look way different, isn't it? So it's unique to you. You are customizing this blush that was made for everyone. You're customizing it just for you by mixing in your foundation. Now we're going to go in with a bit of sculpting now. So I'm going to use my Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Shaping Stick, and my shade is dark, and I'm just going to add a little bit of this to the back of my hand, just a little bit. Sometimes you may feel that your contouring or your dark shade that you're using is a little bit too dark. We're going to do the same thing. We are going to customize this so that it is the perfect shade that doesn't require too much blending. We're going to get the back of a sponge again. We're going to go into this product. We're going to go right from the middle of the ear now. And we are going to just press this very lightly. And this is going to give us a bit more of a kind of nice, just more depth here. See that really soft sculpt there? Let's go to the other side. It's just so easy because it just kind of like, you've made a product which was made with so many different skin tones in mind. You've made it for you. It's so unique to you because you've basically kind of mixed in your foundation, which is unique to you, into a product that looks completely different as you applied it on its own. Now you can go into other areas if you want, if you really want to kind of like like sculpt the face. Now this is where you can actually go over with a bit of powder to just set the rest of the face. So you can use a brush or you can use your sponge, but I'm just going to dust a very light dusting of powder all over. If you don't have highlighter, it's fine. And even if you don't have highlighter, maybe you just don't like the whole chunky glitter thing or shimmer, you know, you want it to look literally like there's no shimmer there, but it just looks like really glistening kind of. So what you can do is get your sponge, get a good spray, a hydrating spray such as the Charlotte Tilbury Hydrator Mist, spray your sponge, and then you are just going to touch the areas that you want less matte. And this is a really great way to get that natural glow coming through without having to use a highlighter. Look at that. And you know that you're not applying extra product. Now, another thing that I like doing is getting my blush and adjusting it so it doesn't look like the same blush that I've got on. Basically, I want like a tint of it on my lips. I don't want a lot of it, and I don't want it to dry my lips out because I feel like liquid blushes can very easily dry your lips. Now, I've got my same blush that I was using. I've got my Rhode Peptide Lip Treatment. I'm going to put a little bit of this on the back of my hand with the blush. We're going to mix this together, and we have got a hydrating lip balm, which has given me this really nice kind of like just juicy watermelon look to my lips. If you want, you can line your lips a little bit. I'm just going to do it a little bit just so that you guys can kind of like see. So that is my full face of new makeup hacks that I feel you need in your life. I know you're going to love these. When you try them, you're going to be like, wow. Honestly, I love them. I feel like a couple of them I didn't even realize I was doing for so long. And I thought, you know what, I really need to share this because it's just going to make so many people's like lives much easier when it comes to their whole routine. And they've probably got these products lying around and now they know how they can mix them and kind of like create different textures with them, create different finishes with them, and how it may even make your whole application process so much easier, because some people find applying contour, applying liquid blush really daunting because they don't know where to apply it and they feel like it just doesn't come out right. So I really wanted to kind of show you how you can almost like create your own different types of makeup too. Like for example, mixing the liquid blush with a clear lip balm. Like if you don't have a gloss, it's fine, use a lip balm. Even if you were to mix it in with Vaseline, it's like, honestly, it's something that anyone can do, even with some of the most cheapest products at home. So even if you have basic stuff that, like Vaseline, that you could use on your lips, then mix it with a little bit of a liquid blush or a lipstick or something like that. It's really about thinking outside the box and thinking, right, how can I utilize these textures and these colors for other parts of my face if I don't either cannot afford to go and buy those products, or if I want a more kind of diluted version of it, which is really customized to my skin tone and my look and my personality. So hopefully these have helped. So I'm sending you loads of love wherever you are in the world, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so that you never miss any of my future videos. Until the next video, take care, and I'll see you soon.